The name alone always sends a shiver down my spine. It's like a whisper in the dark, a call to uncover something we're not supposed to know, something meant to stay hidden. I don't know why I always feel drawn to stories like these, the ones that linger with you long after the lights go out. Tonight, I've got something terrifying for you. Something real. I had heard the rumors for years. Everyone in the city knew about it, but no one talked about it much. It was the kind of place you heard about in hushed voices, in dark corners of the bar, or whispered behind closed doors. A building that stood in the heart of Sydney, hidden by its own ominous past. An old, crumbling structure, half abandoned, half forgotten. The old quarantine station. I never thought I'd end up there, never thought I'd see it for myself. But there I was, standing at its gates, feeling the weight of history press down on me. I had been planning this for months, the perfect chance to get inside. It wasn't just the rumors that intrigued me. It was the chilling stories, stories of ghostly figures, strange sounds in the dead of night, and the undeniable feeling of being watched. People said the place was haunted, and they weren't talking about just a few eerie creaks or flickering lights. No. They said it was alive, in a way that no building should be. I tried to shake off the feeling, telling myself it was all just folklore, things made up to scare the curious. But the closer I got, the heavier the air seemed to grow, like the building itself was breathing, waiting, watching. The wind howled through the trees, and I couldn't help but notice the eerie silence that surrounded me. The street lights flickered, casting long shadows over the gravel path that led up to the entrance. The building loomed in the distance, its crumbling walls barely visible in the moonlight. It was a stark contrast to the modern city around it, an ancient, decaying monument to a past best forgotten. I pulled my jacket tighter around me, feeling the cold seep into my bones. The rumors about the quarantine station were always the same. Something had happened there long ago, something terrible. And ever since, the spirits of those who died within its walls had never left. They said the building was cursed, haunted by the souls of the sick and dying who were left to rot, abandoned by a world that didn't know what to do with them. But the more I heard, the more I wanted to know. I walked up to the door, my heart pounding in my chest. The heavy wood groaned beneath my touch as I pushed it open, the smell of mold and decay rushing out to greet me. The hallway inside was dark, so dark it felt like I was stepping into a place where time didn't exist, where the past had bled into the present. The floorboards creaked under my feet, sending echoes down the long, narrow corridor. I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me. Every shadow seemed to shift as if alive, every sound amplified in the stillness of the place. I pulled out my flashlight, its beam barely cutting through the thick darkness. As I walked deeper into the building, I began to notice things, strange things. A door that should have been locked was slightly ajar, as if someone had been here recently. The walls, covered in peeling wallpaper, seemed to have eyes, glaring, judging. The air was thick with a kind of oppressive heaviness, as though the building itself was trying to suffocate me. I turned a corner and nearly bumped into an old, rusted cart, half hidden in the shadows. It looked like something from another time, a relic of the past. The kind of thing you'd expect to find in a museum, not in a decrepit old building like this. As I knelt down to inspect it, I heard a noise, faint, almost like a whisper. I froze. It came again, closer this time. The sound of someone, or something, breathing heavily. I quickly stood up, my flashlight darting around the room. But there was nothing there. Just empty, rotting furniture and piles of forgotten debris. Yet, the feeling didn't go away. It was as if someone, was standing just behind me. I tried to brush it off, telling myself it was just my imagination, but my heart wouldn't stop racing. The whispers continued, soft and indistinct, like a distant conversation I couldn't quite make out. I could feel them in the air, all around me. I was being drawn deeper into the building, as if it had a mind of its own. I moved toward what appeared to be the main hall, a vast, open space filled with broken windows and shattered glass. The beam of my flashlight revealed faded photographs on the walls, black and white images of people long gone. The faces seemed to watch me, their expressions frozen in time. Some of them seemed sad, others angry. And then I saw something that made my blood run cold. At the far end of the hall, a figure stood in the shadows, motionless. My breath caught in my throat. I couldn't tell if it was a person or something else. It was tall, unnaturally so, and its features were obscured by darkness. But there was something about it, something wrong. I should have run. I knew that. But I couldn't. My feet felt like they were stuck in place, as if the very ground beneath me had turned to stone. The figure didn't move. Not at first. Then it did. It shifted forward, just an inch, but it was enough. My heart skipped a beat. I forced my legs to move, stepping back, but my body felt like it was moving through water. The flashlight flickered, casting long, distorted shadows across the floor. The figure came closer, slowly, deliberately. I could hear its breathing now, heavy, raspy, like something not quite alive. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the hall. I spun around, my flashlight blinding my vision, but when I turned back to the figure, it was gone. Just like that. I was alone, or so I thought. The whispers returned, louder now, a cacophony of voices swirling around me, pulling me in every direction. The air grew cold, freezing even, and I could see my breath misting in front of me. I stumbled back, my eyes darting around, looking for any sign of escape, but there was nothing. Just the cold, oppressive darkness, and the sense that something was closing in around me. I turned to run. But as I did, I felt a hand, cold, clammy, wrap around my wrist, stopping me dead in my tracks. I spun around, but no one was there. The grip tightened, and the whispering voices grew louder until they were a deafening roar in my ears. The hand, no, the thing, pulled me toward the back of the building, toward a dark doorway I hadn't noticed before. I didn't want to go. Every fiber of my being screamed for me to turn around and run, but I couldn't. I couldn't escape. The door opened with a low, ominous creak. And what I saw beyond it, I wish I could forget.